Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of Empire Jeff TV. I am your host, Empire Jeff, coming to you on a Sunday night from Los Angeles, California, man. Week 2 of the NFL season, man, for these NFL Sunday ticket junkies, for these fantasy football junkies, for the survival pool junkies, for all the NFL people out there, man. My first NFL stream. But we're gonna talk everything tonight. We're gonna talk NFL, we're gonna talk MLB, we're gonna talk NBA, we're gonna talk NFL, we're gonna talk my New York Football Giants tonight, man. Earlier today, man, just continue to just destroy my hope in this franchise, man. But the New York Football Giants let me down per usual. But there were a lot of good morning games on. There was a pretty good down to the wire Sunday night football game. Afternoon games were kind of right? But this was the most amount of games on the 10 a.m. slot on the West Coast all season long. So it was a jam-packed morning session on the West Coast for football today. So it was great. It was great to watch that. The Dodgers pulled off a miraculous top of the ninth inning tonight in Atlanta. Had to get that win after losing the first 2 games in this series, after losing 2 of 3 for Chicago in that series. So we'll touch on that as well. Shout out to the Dodgers, man. Shout out to what they pulled off. Shout out to Walker Buehler for what he brought today after the news of hearing of Glasnow going down. But NFL, man, let me know who your teams are. Let me know who you're rocking for today. The Rams got absolutely obliterated. So I'm a New York Giants fan. New York Football Giants are my number 1 team in the NFL, but I do root for the Los Angeles Rams, being that I am in LA, right? So I do root for the LA Rams, and they got absolutely just by the Arizona Cardinals today, and Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and everything they had going on in the desert absolutely destroyed the Rams today, which is frustrating as well. So my East Coast team, my West Coast team, both lost. The Dodgers salvaged my day today. But outside of that, man, let me know if your team won. Let me know who your team is. And like I said, man, I had myself a good day. It was like a whole 10-hour shift today, man. I've been locked in on NFL since 8:30 this morning, man. Had my first drink at 9 a.m. I still got one right now. So, you know what I mean? Putting in this work. So it was great day of football. A lot of upsets. That Cowboy game was wild. The Kansas City Chief game, that ending was wild. There's been a lot of my fantasy team, bro. And when I tell you that I had the best fantasy team in my league, and I am now 0-2 in my league because I had number 1 pick. I got Christian McCaffrey. He's out hurt. Puka Nacua out hurt. Half my roster is out hurt. But I had a 75% chance of winning like a few hours ago. And then just got obliterated in the Sunday night game. So it was my fantasy team is in the toilet. My New York Football Giants are in the toilet. My Los Angeles Dodgers starting rotation is in the toilet. And my Los Angeles Lakers have been in the toilet. So this is a toilet bowl we're going to talk about right now. But hope your teams did well today. Like I said, it was a full-fledged day of NFL. NFL Sunday Ticket has been great this season. The multi-view has been much improved off last season. So watched a whole lot of football today. BC, I see you, man. Appreciate you pulling up. He said go Dodgers. He said Rams. Salute DJ. I see you. DJ, Lakers in 5. Make sure to pull up on DJ. DJ talks basketball, but this dude is a football player, man. For those that don't know, built like a football player, did play football. He's a monster. He's the Hulk. You know what I mean? Pull up on DJ. Subscribe to his channel. Lakers in 5. Good dude. Great content. DJ, if you're driving tonight, be safe, brother. Eric Kwan, what's up, brother? He said Raiders came back from 10 to put out a win. Yeah, I was watching that. So I'm a Giants fan. I had my game on. My brother-in-law is a Raiders fan. We had his game on, and one of our best friends, he's a Cowboys fan, had his game on, and we're all kind of rock for the Rams being in LA, right? So we had multiple screens, multiple games going on, and my brother-in-law, who's a Raider fan, got super excited in that game, and that's not tripping. I think they came back from 10 points down in the 4th, man, and did their thing. The Kansas City one was interesting too, man. You had that play where comes down to the wire, and Mahomes made a throw to the middle. The receiver makes the catch, and they called the penalty on the offensive lineman for putting his hands in the defensive lineman's face, right? And brought that back, and it came out to a 4th and 16 or something like that, right? And then they go across the middle again. The receiver doesn't catch it, but this time the defense gets hit with a flag for pushing the receiver in the back. And now all of a sudden they get pushed to within automatic first down and within field goal range. And then the Kansas City went out and won that game. But that itself was a crazy game as well. So there were a lot of crazy games early on here. The Niners lost today. They got guys out hurt, right? Obviously, like I said, the Cowboys lost today. The Ravens lost today. Kansas City almost lost, but they won there in the end. And like I said, there were definitely some upsets today. A lot of survival pools took a brick with that Ravens win today. But the Saints, man, 44-19 over the Cowboys. They just jumped on them like 35-16 in the first half. The second half was kind of mild for both teams, but the way that New Orleans, the Saints, man, that first and second quarter scoring 35 points, man, just was too much for the Cowboys to handle. Tampa Bay going in and beating the Lions, a 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers now, man. The Lions had a chance there at the end, but blew that. Now Tampa Bay 2-0. The Colts and Packers game went down to the wire. The Packers won that. They're now 1-1. And the New York Football Jets won down to the wire there as well, 24-17. They won. And like I said, the 49ers and Vikings kind of went down to the wire there. Vikings won 23-17. The Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. The Patriots are now 1-1. The Seahawks 2-0 in the season there. I thought the Patriots were about to pull that off, and the Seahawks got a little busy there at the end. They won 23-20 in overtime, man. The Chargers, formerly San Diego, the halfway LA Chargers, won 26-3 over the Carolina Panthers, man. Jim Harbaugh, 2-0 since joining the Chargers here. And you know he's going to turn that around. He's going to turn that team into a team that can perform. Everywhere that he's gone, he's won. So we'll see what happens there, man. The Cleveland Browns won 18-13 in Jacksonville. The Browns 1-1, Jaguars 0-2. The Cleveland Browns were my defense in my fantasy league. They were one of the bright spots in my fantasy league today, man. But the Raider game we touched on, 26-23. Raiders went into Baltimore, came back, scored 13 points in the fourth to Baltimore 7, outscored them by 10, won that game, man. Rams, man, this is the one that stung, man. 41-10. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals today. And it was like, I remember like I was going back and forth and I thought they kept showing replays, right? But every time I changed, like, it was another touchdown. And like, it was like 24-3 before anyone knew what was even happening. And then it was like 34-10. And I was just like, or even like 34-3 before anyone knew what was up. And they lost 41-10. The Rams, man, got to get it together. They got absolutely beat down and bodied up in Arizona today, man. That was a rough one, man. Steelers went into Denver. Steelers now 2-0. Shout out to my brother LOE. He's been on both games on the road for the Steelers to start this season, man. Traveling out there, catching these games. Dedicated fan, man. Dedicated. Shout out to the fans in the stands, man. Don't talk about it, be about it. Shout out to Lowe, man. The Cincinnati Bengals, like I said, lost 26-25 to the Chiefs. The Bengals are 0-2. And you never want to start 0-2. I know they started like 0-4 after the Super Bowl versus the Rams. The Bengals are a better team than their record. They definitely could have and probably should have won this game today, but they did not. Kansas City just executed down the stretch, and the Bears and the Texans in the final game of the Sunday Night Football game, 19-13. CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams, man. CJ Stroud was a little bit better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams kind of fell apart at the end there. 1-1 for the Bears, 2-0 for the Texans, and CJ Stroud, man, 260 yards right there tonight. Caleb Williams rushed for 44 yards, but Caleb Williams had a really, really stretch there where he threw some terrible throws that were picked off or almost picked off, and he's gonna have to learn that this ain't college, and he's gonna have to learn how to put those footballs in places where their receivers can actually do something with them, man. So, Chris, my brother Chris is in the building. What's going on, Chris, man? Appreciate you. He said Rams house, man. Yeah, man. Walker Buehler looked better today. Facts, Chris. Walker Buehler. I mean, he had that stretch where he had that catcher interference, and he walked two guys, and then he gave up, walked in a run, and it was like, oh man, here we go. But 6 innings pitched, only 2 runs, 1 earned run given up, and that 9th inning, man, they walked Ohtani again to get the Mookie, and Mookie freaking bets made him pay. Then Freddie made him pay, and then Teo, and then Edmund, and then Muncy went back to back to back. And it was all she wrote for the Los Angeles Dodgers in Atlanta, man. So shout out to them. And BC says Buehler 2.93 career postseason ERA. Yeah, I would love to get that Buehler back. I would absolutely love to get that version of Buehler back. I don't know if we're going to, but I would love to get that version of Buehler back. If you guys have not done so already, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Shout out to everyone else on Twitter as well. This is my first NFL stream. I don't know how often I'm going to do these, but it's been a long day of covering the NFL, watching the NFL. So figure why not do a show on this. I got basketball coming back full-time right around the corner. You guys know I've been covering baseball. So wanted to start touching on some NFL stuff and, doing that being, like I said, man, 10 hours. 10 hours of watching the NFL today. And when I tell you, there's three of us. There was three of us here today. And I don't know if this is something I should be proud of. But there was 324 packs. 324s of various different ones. Some heavier ones, some lighter ones. 324s. All right. Do the math. And I'm sitting here with my last 3 beers right here. Between the three of us, right? So, you know what I mean? Full shift, man. Full shift. Went out, had to get the gazebo ready, clean the grill, all that about 8:30 this morning. Had to hydrate early, right? It was overcast in LA. It was actually kind of raining this morning, which was welcome because it's been so hot in LA. And then got the gazebo ready, got the TV set up outside, got that going, the fans in the gazebo, got everything going, man. Got Lucky set up. Everything was good. Brought some homies for Lucky. You know what I mean? Lucky had homies over too. And then it was just a full day at 10 a.m. To about 9:15. You know what I mean? Had to pack everything up, close up everything, put everything away, and then come up here and tap in with you guys on post NFL games, man. So full-fledged day of covering, watching NFL football today and watching baseball too. I had all the games on multiple screens out there, watching some baseball games too. So a bunch of sports to watch today. So curious to let me know who you guys' teams are, man. I know it's a predominantly LA channel, so I'm assuming most of you guys are Rams fans. But Rams lost, Dodgers won. I'm just so frustrated with my Giants, man. Our kicker got hurt on the first play of the game on the kickoff. Our kicker gets hurt, and he's not available. And then we miss an extra point. They go for 2 on their next score because they don't trust the kicker. They botched that, right? And then they, instead of kicking the game, a winning field goal, or at least the put them ahead, they go for it on 4th and 6, and Neighbors catches the ball and then drops it, and they turn the ball over to Washington. Washington marches down the field and gets a game-winning field goal at time expires. And this was, that was brutal to watch. Neighbors had the game of his young career. Yeah, DJ, I see you, man. 10 hours, man. 10 hours. And I'm still going because I'm still talking football, watching Sports Center right now. 10 hours, bro. I feel like this is a Lakers in 5 stream of just me watching football. But yeah, man. Hey, when you pay that $5 for that Sunday ticket, man. And look, I say it like this. I'll tell my wife, look, I'm gonna buy a Sunday ticket because that $500 for the season. When I tell you, I'd be spending like 2.5 at the bar every Sunday. Like if I didn't have Sunday ticket. If I was out, and that's just like keeping it casual. That's just keeping it casual. Buying a couple beers for the homies. You know what I mean? Tip. You know what I mean? Other people come and go. You take care of them too, right? So it's like minimum, probably $250 on a Sunday. $250 on a Sunday. Just to going out, catch some games, get a couple drinks, grab something to eat, get something else to eat, buy someone else something to eat. You know what I mean? It's just how it goes. You know how it goes. Would have been like $250, a solid, soft $250 every Sunday. And so I'm like, yo, I could go do that, which, she ain't gonna trip on, but I could have been like, I could go do that, or I can like spend like $150 every weekend, divide that by like 3 or 4, plus with the Sunday ticket, and keep my ass home. You know what I mean? So much easier and much more wifey forgiving to go down that path, man. But great NFL Sunday, though. Great NFL Sunday. Long day, some good games, some fun games. And we go to Monday, Falcons versus Eagles in tomorrow night's game, man. But the Saints, I want to talk about that Saints-Cowboys game because The Cowboys, in their game against Green Bay at home in last year's playoffs, this is what today's game felt like. They just couldn't stop nobody. They couldn't prevent anyone from scoring. They couldn't score enough of their own points. And then before you knew it, Kamara was just bodying them. Like before you knew it, that game was over. That game was over before like Dallas had any chance of even doing anything with that game. And I understand the Cowboys, won last weekend. But when you look at that Green Bay game and you look at that game today, if you're Dallas, there's got to be some concerns there. There's got to be some concerns there. Like your defense, even with Parsons and the guys that you have not been able to stop these guys when you need to keep those guys off the field and stop them from scoring. And they had no shot of stopping the Saints today. And Derek Carr, man, the Raiders gave up on him and blamed everything on him. And then you just see what Derek Carr is doing now. And he's doing his thing. He went out there and then had himself a solid game today. Derek Carr's a Kobe guy. He's a Mamba mentality guy. Shout out to him. But Raiders gave up on him, pretty much blamed everything on him. And then here you go. Here they go doing their thing out there, just going into Dallas and flat out destroying them, man. DJ says, I don't know why they paid Dak all that money. I don't know why either. They made Dak the highest paid quarterback in the league. And I know that's just like it was just his turn. They had multiple other guys that had that title this offseason, and then he got paid last, so he got that title. But yeah, Dak, that's a lot of money for Dak, man. That's a lot of money for a guy that has never won a Super Bowl and probably will never win you a Super Bowl. I think Dak is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. And that is a whole lot of money to give him. And they're allowing him to basically call plays at the line. They said that multiple times on today's broadcast. So that's a lot. That's a lot of money for Dak Prescott, man. We got Simblades, aka Mr. Joe Sorrow in the building, man. Joseph Sorrow in the building today, man. Said Dallas will always have concerns until Jerry Jones is gone. This I agree with. I think Jerry Jones is the main problem in Dallas, as was Al Davis at with the Raiders and various other teams, ownership who's kind of living in the past and various different sports, right? Ownership is pretty much killing because Jerry Jones is operating the Dallas Cowboys as a money generating machine, which taking care of your family, you're doing this, I get all that, but you can't label this America's team and not put winning first because everything he does is basically about business. And Jerry Jones, the way he's running that team, they're never going to win a Super Bowl again, which is why they haven't won it since 1996. Like the Dallas Cowboys, the last time they won a Super Bowl, the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl, all right, both Big and Pac were alive. Both Big and Pac were alive.
Damn.
That's crazy. Tell him, Will Ferrell.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
I mean, 96, man. Man, I love me some 96. Don't get me wrong, but that's the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a championship was a Super Bowl was in 96, and Big and Pac were alive. That's wild, man. That's just wild, man. And that's a lot of money to pay Dak Prescott, man. That's a lot of money to pay him because QBs are at a premium. Yeah, they definitely are. I get it, but they definitely are at a premium. Hey, boy, we're leaving the garage door up. I'm gonna get in trouble. The quarterbacks are definitely at a premium, man, for sure. BC says Dak will never win a Super Bowl. I don't think so either. I don't think he'll win a Super Bowl, and I don't think a team led by Jerry Jones anymore will win a Super Bowl. I'm not a Dallas Cowboy hater, even though they're in the division of my beloved New York Football Giants. I'm not a Dallas Cowboy hater, but I just know bad ownership when I see it. When it comes bad ownership, so look, Jerry Jones is kind of in the class of like a James Dolan, where he's kind of known as a bad sports owner, right, for the team, but he is not a bad businessman. He makes a ton of money. The current Los Angeles Lakers situation, where that's a whole different subject, but their shareholders are making their money. Kind of how the LA Dodgers used to be prior to the Guggenheim Group taking over. So it was when you got a team ownership group that's out there looking to fund their own portfolio, use it as the business and use it as cash flow as opposed to investing in the team to win. That's how I look at the Cowboys with Jerry Jones, because every move he makes just rarely makes sense for winning. Just rarely makes sense for winning. BC says, except for Madden. Right. If Dak went to San Francisco, he would win a Super Bowl. We'll see. There you go. And Joe, that's the thing. Dak Prescott is not a bad quarterback. He's just not an elite quarterback, like a top 2-3 quarterback in the league that you pay like that. You give him a team that's ran right with a good organization. But I believe that Dak could help you win a Super Bowl under that situation. That I 100% agree with you. Last time they went to the NFC Championship was in '96 too. Yeah. And it was, like I said, I don't think that they can get there as this team is built, man. So Jeff was born in NY, but grew up in LA. Actually, no. I was born out here in LA. And then because my mom's family's from the East Coast, my dad went to the Navy and got housed on the East Coast in Red Hook, Brooklyn, outside of the Navy Yard, right there by the Queen Mary 2 in the original IKEA. So we were on the East Coast in Red Hook, Brooklyn. And then I was Red Hook. I was in Connecticut. I was in Philly. I was in all the attitude cities, man. And then back to LA, then back to the East. So it was back and forth, right? And then the son of a truck driver. So I bounced around and then settled in LA. But no, I was not born in New York. Never. I was never born in New York. I was born on the West Coast in LA. And then, like I said, kind of bounced around because my father was in the Navy. I was a Navy brat. And then my mom had her peoples was from the East Coast. Jerry Jones is in his own category at this point, but he's like the new version of Al Davis. Yeah, this I agree with. And he always kind of backed up Al Davis with everything, right? You can kind of tell like they kind of teamed up on things. You could tell that Jerry was kind of studying the kind of the plan of Al Davis and the way he did it, because at the end of the day, obviously he wants to win. Don't get me wrong, but he wants to win his way, right? He wants to win his way. He wants to make sure that that if they do win, it's with his fingerprints on it and his say, his control. And he's not the type of guy that's gonna like get out of the way, kind of like Mickey Arison when he owns the Miami Heat, right? But he doesn't get in the way of Pat Riley. He lets Pat Riley do his thing, right? He kind of like what is it? Peter Holt owns the San Antonio Spurs, but he lets Greg Popovich and RC Buford, run it. He doesn't get in their way. Jerry Jones is constantly in the way of his football people, like Al Davis and his son is in the way of their football people and doesn't allow them to get out there and run the team as they see fit. It has to be kind of ran in Jerry's image, right? And I think that is hurting Dallas, and will continue to hurt Dallas in for the foreseeable future. Born in Bellflower. Okay, where are you at now, BC? You say born in Bellflower. Where are you at? Where were you at? I know Joe Soro was born in another galaxy far, far away that just bestowed on Earth to take over and teach us all some things, but I don't know exactly where he was born, though. I don't know where Joe Soro was born, but yeah, Al Davis, Jerry Jones, what made Dr. Jerry Buss so great was that oh, you were born in Queens? Okay, that's what's up. Flushing? Okay, gotcha. Flushing, Queens, that's what's up. Like what made Dr. Jerry Buss so special is obviously he wanted to make money, even though he was in such great debt and had so many financial issues while initially owning the Lakers. He put winning and the stamp on winning and the branding on winning above all when he first took over that team. And there's a whole different argument about how his philosophy changed over the years, because he did eventually become someone that was looking at the balances and not just purely winning, later on. That's a whole different conversation, a whole different story. I believe a lot of the ways that Jeannie operates now was kind of taught to her towards the end of how Dr. Buss was running things. But Whole different thing, right? But as far as how he got started and this that fire in his belly, like I know that Jerry Jones has a fire in his belly. He wants his team to win. You know, Al Davis had that fire in his belly. He wants his team to win, but not at the cost of their bottom line. Whereas Dr. Jerry Buss or like a George Steinbrenner or those guys were like, they looked at the bottom line second. Winning came first, and then worry about the bottom line later. They adjusted on that later. All of them did. They all did. But Jerry Jones and Al Davis, like they were looking at that out the gate, right? So just a little bit different of a situation there. Royal Oak, Michigan. Okay, I know where that is. Okay, suburb. Yeah, I know what it is. He said Detroit. What? You know, Joe, I can see you in Detroit, man. I can see you in Detroit, man. I can see you in Detroit. Joseph, I can see you. I can see you being from the D, man. I can see you being from the suburbs of the D, Joe. You got some Detroit vibes in you. Do you like Detroit pizza, Joe? Was that even a thing when you were there? Was that a thing when you were there, Joe? Have you had Detroit pizza in Detroit, Joe? Detroit pizza is wild to me, man. It's a whole different vibe now. It popped up out of nowhere, huh? But yeah, those type of owners were just a little bit different. And Jerry Jones is going to go down as a legacy owner. Al Davis is going to go down as a legacy owner. Not that, you know, other NFL owners weren't great. You know, Robert Kraft entered the news a few times for some wildness, but outside of that, like he let Belichick and Brady do their thing. You know, when the owner of the Denver Broncos, when Elway was winning those Super Bowls, kind of, you know, let them do their thing. The Hunt family running the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like you don't see them being like Jerry Jones out there. They know it's Andy Reid. They know it's Patrick Mahomes. They're not trying to make themselves the stars out there. They don't, right? They stay kind of behind the scenes and let their football people handle things. Joe says, I don't claim Detroit too much. A fan moved to the West Coast when I was 2. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. But I think the influence is in you. I can definitely, I can sense Motor City and Motown in you, Joe. Now that I think about it, it makes sense. I have a Detroit pizza story for you. It's a sad one for the fam. Man. I'll tell you about it when we do our CP3 show before training camp. Yeah, we got to do that before training camp for sure. Yeah, that was Joe. Like Detroit, you know, it's funny. My wife told me because she's a big Eminem fan, obviously as am I. But I've been to Detroit. My wife was always saying we should go to Detroit. Like there's nothing for you to go see in Detroit. There's nothing there for you to go see, like for a trip. Like if you're going to watch the Dodgers play the Tigers, if you're going to watch your football team play the Lions, you're going to watch the Lakers play the Pistons or something like that. Okay, you go for that. No one just goes to Detroit just to go to Detroit. I'm trying to explain that to my wife, and she's not getting it yet. But you don't just go to Detroit. People leave Detroit. They don't go to Detroit. Like Detroit is not an attraction, like whatsoever. And probably why your family left there, Joseph. I don't know the story behind it, but like I said, I've been to Detroit a few times. Like I said, my whole family's truck drivers, car haulers at that. So you know I've been to have my fair share of Motor City, man. Definitely had my fair share of it. Man, it gets cold out there, man, too. Oh man. We got stuck in Detroit one time, man. It is not a place you want to be stuck in for sure. Joe says I'm going to the big house next year for the OSU game. We should roll with me. Oh man, okay. You know what? It's funny because as much as I clown Detroit and all that, Michigan football, Michigan is the college I root for, man. The Fab Five was my favorite college team of all time. I used to rock heavily with Tyrone Wheatley and them back in the day. Who's Charles Woodson, and it was Bernard Robinson. Like I rocked with Michigan football for a while, but the Fab Five really kind of just made me fall in love with Michigan. I visited a lot after, but the roots were born there. But grew in Cali. Gotcha. Like I said, yeah, Detroit is a whole different vibe, man. It's a whole different. And for those who never really leave your city, like it amazes me how much I talk to people in LA that never have never left LA, right? Like they've gone to like especially, you know, the Latino community in LA is huge. So some have been like, you know, been to the border, you know, been to TJ or something like that, or been to San Diego to go pick up and drop off. But like the amount of people I know that live around me that have never left these surroundings is crazy. Like, you'd be surprised how many people have really never left here, for their own sake, right? Like a trip to like somewhere to Midwest, trip somewhere to the East Coast, trip to somewhere in Florida, trip to somewhere out of the country. You'd be surprised how many people just never really leave here, other than going to pick up someone, like who said, who's crossing the border or something like that, right? You just don't really, a lot of them don't, and it always tripped me out for that. And I know a lot of people, they're like, no, I just pick up like my cousins, my tios in San Diego, they cross the border through TJ, I pick them up and come back. That's as far as I go. I've never gone anywhere north of LA, nowhere south of San Diego. Like, that's all they know in the world, right? It trips me out. It just trips me out, man. But Joe, your Steelers won today. They're 2-0. Like I said, kind of grinded it out there with Fields as the quarterback there while Wilson is out hurt. I don't know if they're going to make a change when he comes back at this point with Fields going 2-0. You might want to just kind of hold on to that and see what comes of it, right? And starting out 2-0, Pittsburgh's always going to, attempt to win football games defensively, but have their quarterbacks not hurt them. I know Joe's not the biggest Tomlin fan, but we'll see how that how that goes. And DJ said, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man, it is crazy. How many people just never really leave their city when you talk to them. I think you'll be surprised the amount of people that actually don't. Every day I talk to people and they're like, I've never left. And I'm just like, this is all you know? Like, do you think this is the world? Like, this is all you know? And because, like I said, I'm the son of a truck driver and a Navy brat, I've been to every city this country has to offer. Every major city. Like, I've been to every state. I've been everywhere. And to me, it's just kind of mind-blowing to hear people that never really leave the vicinity. Officiating has been abysmal. Yeah, fishing. I want to talk like not just officiating, but you saw the linesmen, and I'm going to talk about on the line, like defense or offense, but like the guys who move the chains, the guys on the sidelines, like those guys, multiple of those guys got hurt today. Did you guys see that? And another thing, why do these dudes so old? These dudes are like 60, 70 and older on the sidelines, moving the chains and then out there. Why are they out there like that? And these dudes are getting like killed. Like, I saw 3 dudes go down today. And in the Baltimore Raiders game, the players were actually taking a knee on the field praying for him because the dude got laid out so bad. And then you had the other game when it was the Texans and Bears where the guy fell over like a cone or like those little triangle things on the sideline, fell and hit his head. They got to put him in the tent. Concussion protocol for like a sideline guy. Like, first of all, you're out there playing amongst mammoth, monstrous human beings. Why don't these guys have helmets on the sidelines, right? You can get run over in a second out there. Secondly, why are these dudes so old? Why are these dudes on the sideline so old? And I'm not age shaming. I'm legit worried about their health. like we had 3 of them go down today. Like, this is probably a talking point. Like, we can't have our elderly out there on the sidelines like this, like getting just tore up like that. Like, what is going on? Cuts Fields better stats and games should have been done by the 3rd. Cost Fields better stats. Oh, and a game that should have been done by the 3rd. Yeah, I hear you though. African Gamer, what's up, my guy? My Jets 1-1. Yeah, the Jets. Look, the Jets got a solid defense, right? The Jets are trying to do their thing. No doubt about it, man. Someone in New York got it because my Giants definitely ain't. That's for sure, man. Fields ran over 2 today. Okay, so I didn't see that one. So there's more than what I saw. It was just like, the afternoon game, Joe. Yeah, I think there was 3 afternoon games. And because it was afternoon, there was no Sunday ticket. The only Sunday ticket game for me was the Steelers Denver game, right? CBS had the Chiefs and Bengals, and Fox locally had the Rams and Cardinals. So when you have those games, and okay, now I got to go back and forth. Sunday ticket, the multi-stream, you can have multiple games on at once. But today I couldn't watch all the afternoon games at once like I could the morning game. So I missed that play on that one. I didn't catch a ton of the Steelers game because I was watching the Rams and then the Chiefs games. But in all those games, like I said, there's been multiple guys on the sidelines that are just getting ran over. And I just don't understand why these dudes are so old on the sidelines. I don't understand. Now, maybe these guys have had that job for 30 years, and I respect that. But they got to protect them better. And like, if that's the case, because I can't remember, maybe you guys can remind me, but I've never recalled a week this many sideline injuries for non-players. I can't remember as many happening as happened today, and all of them were elderly. And I'm like, why are these guys, first of all, in that position? And two, why are they not protected? It's just wild to me. Likely trying to get them work that doesn't tax them. And then I get it, but you got to protect them, man. You got to protect them, man. But they're gonna get waxed instead. Yeah, like Joe, can you remember, or any of you guys in here, can you remember a time where that many sideline injuries to non-players occurred? I can't. And I feel like there were so many today. And every time I looked, it was like a 65. It was like retirement level dudes. Like, why are these guys so old on the sidelines, and why are they not protected? I just don't understand it, man. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Drop a like on the video if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, man. But on this, I started a new IG for the channel, EmpireJeffTV. I know you see the Empire Jeff on the screen here. I got to edit that. But EmpireJeffTV is the new IG. It really started kind of pushing about 2 weeks ago, and we are currently got up to 600 subs, followers on the IG in a couple of weeks, man. Doing a lot of Kobe Laker clips up there. So go ahead and check out EmpireJeffTV on IG. Like I said, I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers this coming week, and I think I will. I'm getting about 100 followers a day right now. So appreciate y'all who have followed already. But EmpireJeffTV, Empire Jeff is a personal one. I post all kinds of stuff. It's not just about the channel. You're welcome to follow me there too. But EmpireJeffTV is purely sports related. So make sure to follow me there. EmpireJeff_ on X, as you know, EmpireJeffTV here on YouTube, man, and EmpireJeffTV on TikTok. I have not put that up here on the screen. I've not edited. I got to edit my overlays here. But Empire Jeff on EmpireJeffTV, excuse me, on TikTok as well, which is kind of the similar clips to what I got on IG. That and kickers and punters getting injured. Yeah, man, I told you so the Giants kicker got hurt on the first play of the game, and they missed an extra point, and they never really try to get a guy to kick again the rest of the game. And when you got a 4th and 6 and you're in field goal range, and there's 2.5 minutes, whatever, left in the game, and then you still go for it because you don't have a kicker, is wild to me. I was like, Brian Dable, what are you doing here, man? Extremely frustrating, man. But it is what it is, man. But just wanted to tap in with you guys on an NFL Sunday, man. Like I said, 10-hour shift today, maybe even longer. Started about 8:30 a.m. today. Finished up about 9:15. Watching the here. Big Baby, what's going on, my guy? I said go Chargers. Yeah, Harbaugh's gonna get y'all in a little different spot here, man. There's a little bit of respectability there, right? A little bit of a guy that knows what he's doing, a guy that's won on many levels, and I think he's a perfect guy for a team like that, to kind of help guide them in a different direction. I think he's the right guy for them. He said bolts up. So I think they've got a great quarterback. They've got some good pieces on that team. They just have not had steady coaching, and they have that now. So in that type of situation where you got solid players but you lack leadership on the sidelines, he definitely can bring that. Dable is getting this season the seat, you mean, warm for Belichick? Yeah, I know you've mentioned that before, Joe. But here's the thing. I don't know if Belichick even makes sense anymore, man. Look at the Patriots without him this year, right? Like, no Tom Brady. Brady ain't coming with him to the Jets. Gronk ain't coming with him to the Jets. Edelman ain't coming with him to the Jets. I'm scared. Jets. The Giants, excuse me. I think Belichick's time has passed, and I don't say that disrespectfully. I think if you look at even like a Greg Popovich, if you look at the top tier legendary guys of the mid to late 90s until the late teens-ish of their era, the name is still there. They still carry a certain amount of cliche, but just by adding those guys to your team from this era, I don't believe they deliver the same anymore. That's just my opinion. So I think Belichick in New York, it would be like, it maybe win a press conference, right? But I don't think it's going to help you win many football games. It ain't going to change Daniel Jones. It's not going to change a lot of the things that are wrong with the Giants, that front office, and the way they've been doing things. I think those guys need to be on the hot seat. I don't think Dable's a terrible coach. I really don't. Like, if you look at 2 seasons ago, like, they overachieved. They were turning a corner. Then they signed Daniel Jones in that contract. I'm like, what are you guys doing, right? And then they bring Saquon back on a franchise tag last year, frustrate him, and then he leaves and he scores like 3-4 touchdowns in his first game in Philly. I'm like, what is not ideal, man? Not ideal, right? And so the Giants hierarchy, as far as how they build their team, I think needs to be looked at more than who's running the sidelines for them. Because I do think that Dable is a very, very serviceable head coach. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's a great head coach, but I don't think he's terrible. Like, I don't blame him for everything. And today, like I said, my frustration was, missing the extra point wasn't on him. Going for 2 and failing, typically if you had your kicker, that would be on him, but they didn't have their kicker. And then going on 4th and 6, as opposed to, and Neighbors, the play worked. Just Neighbors dropped the ball. But at the end of the day, you can't blame him because he didn't trust or have his kicker. But Neighbors, who had his best game as a pro, only 2 games in, but he had a very solid game today. Neighbors had that ball. He just dropped it. And now that's kind of where we stood. But if Neighbors catches that football, then the Giants are 1-1. Just unfortunately, they are not, right? Because Neighbors dropped the ball. And that's kind of where we are stuck right now. BC says, Jeff drinking. Oh, yeah, man. But drinking since like, I think I had my first beer. Actually, I shotgunned the beer. at 8:45 a.m. I'm not proud of that. but I shotgunned the beer at 8:45. Took Lucky for a walk and came back. And like I said, sorry, set up the gazebo and get everything going for the game and good to go. But I shotgunned my first beer at 8:45, and I'm still not done. I got one with me right now. So it's been it wasn't hot today, man. It was great. Kind of overcast, cloudy. It was raining a little bit in the morning. Then it got perfect. It was like 75 degrees. It's gonna be like ass next weekend. It's gonna be like 95 next Sunday. So I'm like, man, I'm enjoying the nice weather. I got to wear a Giants hoodie today. I was like, man, NFL to me is hoodie season, right? So I got to wear the hoodie, the first hoodie of the season today, man. It's hoodie season, man. I love hoodie season, man. I'm a hoodie guy. I got so many hoodies, y'all. So many hoodies. When I tell you, first of all, the amount of closets in my house is obnoxious to begin with. And the amount of hoodies in those closets are obnoxious. But the most obnoxious part of it all is the amount of hoodies I have with tags on them still, because I love hoodies so much, right? Gifts or buy myself or whatever. I got so many hoodies. So today being the first hoodie of the season, man, I'm happy with that, man. I'm happy with that. BC, Joe says, Neighbors drop. Yeah, that Neighbors drop, man, was frustrating, man, because he had that ball. He had the ball, man. I think Neighbors gonna be a really good player, and he was a really good player today. And man, frustrating for sure. Anthony Paris says, Dable not a good head coach. He knew the kicker was hurt all week, but didn't call up a kicker from the practice squad. Now that I agree with, that I do agree with. And then the kicker got hurt on the first play of the game, was out the rest of the game. So I agree with you on that, Anthony Paris. I was saying that once the game was in play and you didn't have the kicker, he was kind of stuck with decisions there. But I was definitely frustrated not being able to have a kicker there and having to, obviously they missed the extra point and then they missed the 2-point conversion and then can't even go to kick the field goal to put pressure on Washington. Washington was out there playing, knowing worst comes to worst, they go to overtime. If they're playing to like, we got to get a field goal, we're done, who knows? Maybe they force the issue a little bit, right? So it was I don't think he's a bad head coach. I just don't think he's a great head coach. You know what I mean? And he's definitely better than what we had before. And like I said, 2 years ago, there was so much promise from him and the coaching staff first coming in, kind of rejuvenated Daniel Jones, even with Saquon being hurt. They started off well. They went to playoffs. They won a playoff game. That everything fell apart in Philly, right? But like we thought coming in the last season that this team was going to be better. Turning a corner after kind of overachieving 2 years ago. And when they came in last year and they started the season, I'm like, oh man, this was over quick. And I was surprised that at the end of the season, they were still quote unquote in playoff contention. They were technically but they just couldn't make anything happen for themselves. But now starting 0-2, they had no chance in week 1, even though they're favored against the Vikings. They blew that, got blown out. But today they should have won this game. They should have won this game. And if Neighbors makes that catch, they win this game. And he didn't, and they didn't. And yeah, that's definitely frustrating, man. Did you hear Dable post-game comments? Such a joke. I didn't hear it. Like I said, I've been watching. I went immediately into like the other games. The Giants just completely frustrated me. And I was watching the Dodgers too, and the Dodgers were frustrating me, and they were down 2-0. I'm like, oh man, it's about to end up like game 1 and 2. And then they were able to hold them down and then, scored a couple runs. And then the Dodgers exploding for 7 runs in the 9th got me hyped, man. I was wilding out, man. But so I didn't catch any NFL post games. I was just watching a bunch of live games, but didn't catch that. So, but definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Hope you guys had a great NFL Sunday week 2. My team blew it. Fantasy team 0-2. My Dodgers won. My Lakers made an interesting roster decision today. My teams are not operating in ways that I would consider to be intelligent. The Dodgers have faced a lot of bad luck. The Giants are just the Giants, man. They just can't get right. And Lakers are Lakering. So, but outside of that, I'm going to go and shut it down for the night, man. Just wanted to tap in with y'all on a Sunday night to talk some NFL. Let me know if you guys want to do some more NFL shows. Definitely up for it. I'm not the biggest NFL guy as far as like I don't know the NFL as well as I do NBA and MLB. Even though I'm watching it every Sunday, watching all the games, I can definitely get up here and talk football, but I can't break down the game at the level. Like I can't mop the floor like I can with MLB and NBA, right? But I'm good enough to get up here and do some shows about it. So if you guys want more NFL content, let me know. Can definitely do it. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, hope you guys had a good Sunday. Hope you guys have a great start to your week. And I will catch you guys tomorrow for some Dodger talk, man. So I appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your night. Stay safe. And catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.